rising Atlantic that night. Today we are going to know about many historical events in which some of them will feel absolutely unreal, but it all has happened. So let's get started with the first one. January 1972. Vesna Vulović, a 22-year-old Serbian flight attendant, boards JAT Flight 367. The plane takes off over Europe, and she's working the cabin, unaware of what's about to happen.
At 33,000 feet over Czechoslovakia, a bomb explodes in the luggage compartment. The plane breaks apart instantly. The cabin decompresses, and the aircraft is torn into pieces. Vesna is trapped inside one section of the fuselage as it begins to fall. No parachute, no control, just the tail section spinning down through the freezing sky. The tail section crashes into a heavily snow-covered mountainside at a steep angle. The deep snow and trees cushion the fall. It's the only reason the impact is survivable.
Villagers and rescuers reach the crash site. They find Vesna alive in the wreckage with severe injuries, fractured skull, broken legs, in a coma. No other passengers survive. After months in hospital, Vesna makes a full recovery. She returns to work on the ground for JAT and is awarded a Guinness World Record for the highest survived fall without a parachute, 33,000 feet. In May 1944, just days before the highly classified D-Day Allied invasion during World War II, British intelligence was on edge. The entire operation depended on keeping the codename secret. The daily crossword puzzles in the Daily Telegraph newspaper suddenly started featuring top-secret codenames for the invasion, including Utah, Omaha, and Overlord, the exact words that were not supposed to be public. British intelligence panicked. They could not believe it was a leak. MI5 strictly interrogated the puzzle creator, a schoolteacher named Leonard Dawes. They thought he might be a spy. Under questioning, it turned out to be a total coincidence. Dawes had simply overheard words being spoken by soldiers near his school. He thought they sounded good and liked how they fit into his word grid. Violet Jessop worked as an ocean liner stewardess and nurse in the early 20th century. Her career would become legendary not for luxury cruises, but for surviving disaster after disaster. She was aboard the RMS Olympic when it collided with a warship in 1911. The ship was badly damaged but managed to stay afloat and return to port, and Violet walked away unharmed. In 1916, she survived the sinking of the HMHS Britannic after it hit a sea mine during World War I. She was sucked under by the propellers but managed to surface and was rescued. Her career is famous for surviving 3 separate massive maritime disasters on 3 sister ships. The press later called her Miss Unsinkable because of the odds she beat. Despite everything, she lived a long life, eventually dying of natural causes in 1971. Her story remains one of the most unbelievable true survival tales in maritime history. The famous American author Mark Twain was born in 1835, the exact year Halley's Comet passed by Earth. From the very start, his life seemed tied to the sky. In 1909, he boldly predicted his own death, stating, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it." He said it with the same wit he used in his books. A year later, Halley's Comet returned and made its closest approach to Earth. People around the world watched the bright streak light up the night sky just as Twain had said it would. True to his word, Twain died of a heart attack on April 21, 1910. The timing stunned everyone who had heard his prediction. His death came the very day after the comet made its closest approach to Earth. It was as if he had timed his exit to match the celestial event that marked his entrance. The coincidence made his story unforgettable. A writer who came in with a comet and left with a comet. His life and death became one of history's most famous literary prophecies. In 1971, 17-year-old Julianne Koepke was traveling on a commercial flight over the Peruvian rainforest. She was flying with her mother to meet her ecologist parents. The plane was struck by lightning and disintegrated mid-air, still strapped to her seat. She fell 2 miles into the dense canopy of the Amazon jungle. Against all odds, she survived the fall with only minor injuries. The thick trees broke her descent, and she woke up alone in the vast rainforest with no one else around. For 11 harrowing days, she walked through rain, mud, and wildlife. She treated her wounds with her own knowledge and kept moving downstream despite hunger and exhaustion. She finally located a logging camp and was rescued. Her story became one of the most incredible survival tales in aviation history, proving how knowledge and willpower can beat impossible odds. In June 1914, a plot to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo completely failed in the morning when a thrown bomb missed his car. The conspirators thought their chance was gone. Feeling defeated, one of the young conspirators, Gavrilo Princip, went to a local deli to buy a sandwich. He had no idea history was about to find him there. Meanwhile, the Archduke decided to change his route after the failed attack, but his driver was not informed about the new plan and continued driving through the city streets. The driver took a wrong turn and stalled the car directly outside the exact deli where Princip was standing. It was a mistake measured in just a few feet and a few seconds. Princip looked up, saw his target, and fired the shots that killed the Archduke and his wife. No one expected the morning's failure to end this way. Those bullets inadvertently triggered a chain of events that led to World War I. A wrong turn and a sandwich stop changed the course of the entire 20th century. In 1979, a set of identical twins who had been separated at birth at 4 weeks old were reunited at age 39. They had grown up completely independent of one another in different families. Despite never meeting, both adoptive parents had named them James Jim. From childhood to adulthood, they answered to the exact same name without knowing the other existed. Both grew up to be security officers. They chose the same line of work miles apart and lived parallel lives in uniform without any contact. Both married women named Linda, divorced them, and then married women named Betty. The pattern repeated in both of their lives down to the names of their wives. Both named their firstborn sons James Allen, with slightly different spellings. And both drove the exact same model of blue Chevrolet. It was like two copies living separate lives. Their reunion became one of the most famous cases in twin studies. It raised huge questions about genetics, environment, and how much of life might be written before we're even born. Building the Hoover Dam in the U.S. was an incredibly dangerous engineering project. Thousands of workers faced extreme heat cliffs and fast water every single day. The very first official fatality occurred on December 20, 1921, when a surveyor named John Gregory Tierney drowned in a flash flood. His death marked the tragic start of the construction. For the next 14 years, crews kept building through brutal conditions. The dam slowly rose while families waited, and workers risked their lives to finish what seemed impossible. Exactly 14 years later, on December 20, 1935, the final official fatality of the entire project occurred. The timing matched the first death to the exact day. The victim was Patrick Tierney, John's only son. He fell from an electrical tower while working on the same project his father had helped begin years earlier. One family bookended the entire Hoover Dam construction with tragedy on the same calendar date. It remains one of the most eerie alignments in American engineering history. In 1928, Scottish biologist Alexander Fleming went on a 2-week vacation. He left his lab in a rush and accidentally left a stack of dirty petri dishes containing Staphylococcus bacteria sitting on his lab bench. When he returned, he expected to clean up and start over. But one dish looked different. A patch of green mold had grown on it while he was away. Fleming looked closer and noticed something strange. The bacteria immediately surrounding the mold had been entirely destroyed. There was a clear ring where nothing could grow. That accidentally cultured mold was Penicillium notatum. He realized the mold was producing something that killed bacteria. Instead of throwing the dish away, he started studying it. That one messy mistake led to years of research. Scientists figured out how to extract and mass-produce the substance. The world's first antibiotic was born. Penicillin went on to treat infections that used to be deadly. It saved millions of lives during war and in hospitals. A vacation and a dirty dish changed the entire future of medicine.